Today we're talking about perpendicular lines. We know from our notes last week that parallel lines mean that we have the exact same slope. Perpendicular is going to be the complete opposite. So for perpendicular, they're literally opposite reciprocals, which means, let's say we had a slope of 4. We're going to change the sign, and then that's really 4 over 1. So we're going to flip that fraction. So the new slope of the perpendicular line is going to be negative 1/4. So change everything. Change the sign. So if it's positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. And then flip your fraction. So if it's a whole number, just put it over 1 and then flip that. So we're going to be writing equations in slope-intercept form for a line that passes through the point is perpendicular to the line that's given. So we want it to be perpendicular to this line, which means my new slope is going to be negative 3 over 2. I change the sign, flip the fraction. So once I have that, I can plug in my numbers. We're using y equals mx plus b. So plug in 7 for y. Your m is negative 3 over 2. Your x is 4. We don't know b. So we need to figure out what is negative 3 over 2 times 4. If you need to work it out off to the side, you can. That's negative 3 over 2 times 4 over 1, which is negative 12 over 2, which is negative 6. So negative 6. Add 6 to both sides. So we get b is equal to 13. So rewrite the equation, just plug in the slope, negative 3/2 x, plus your b, so plus 13. Number 2, very similar. Here the slope was 3, so now it's going to be negative 1/3. Plug in 4 for your y, negative 1/3 for your slope, negative 1 for your x, don't know b. Negative 1/3 times negative 1 is a positive 1/3. Subtract 1/3 from both sides. So you could get b equals 3 2/3. Or if you wanted, it could be 4 over 1 minus 1/3. Get a common denominator of 3. So that's 12 over 3 minus 1 over 3, which is 11 over 3. So I don't care which one you pick, 3 2/3 or 11/3. I'm going to pick 11/3. So the final equation is y equals negative 1/3 x plus 11 over 3. Number 3, we need to figure out what the slope is first from this line. So get y by itself. So subtract 2x from both sides. To get 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. Divide everything by 3. So we get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So our slope was negative 2/3, which means our new slope is positive 3/2. So once you get the slope here, don't just say, oh, that's my slope. Make sure you change it. So y is 6, slope 3/2, x is negative 4. 3/2 times negative 4 is negative 6. And again, if you need to work that out, you can, but it's really worked out right here for you. Add 6 to both sides to get b equals 12. So the equation to the line that's perpendicular is 3/2 x plus 12. Okay, moving on to number 4. Again, we need to figure out what the slope is from this line, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides to get negative 4y equals negative 3x minus 2. Divide everything by negative 4 to get y equals negative 3x divided by negative 4 is a positive 3/4 x. Negative and negative is a positive. And then negative 2 over negative 4 is a positive 1/2. So your slope was 3 over 4. So your new slope, negative 4/3. So plug in 6, negative 4/3 times your x plus b. Negative 4/3 times 3 is negative 4. Add 4 to both sides to get b equals 10. So your final equation, negative 4/3 x plus 10. Now the last two, we're just going to figure out if each of these lines are parallel or perpendicular. So I'm going to say this is my first line, second line, and third line, just so I don't have to rewrite the actual equation. So for the first line, your slope is obviously -2. For the second equation, you need to divide both sides by 2 to get x over 2, which is 1/2 x. So the slope for this one is 1/2. And then for line 3, divide everything by 4 to get y equals 1/2 x plus 1. So the slope for the third one is also 1/2. So for this, I just care about the slope, -2, 1/2, and 1/2. First I'm going to see, do I have any parallel lines? So slopes with the same exact slope. So 2 and 3 have the exact same slope, so 2 and 3 are parallel. Then I will want to look, see if I have any perpendicular lines. So we're looking for the completely opposite. -2 and 1/2 are complete opposites. They're different signs, and then 2 is 2 over 1, opposite of that, 1/2. So 1 and 2 are perpendicular. Since 3 has the same slope as 2, we can say that 1 and 3 are also perpendicular. For number 6, I'm going to label this 1, 2, and 3 again. Slope of my first equation is 1/2. For the second one, divide both sides by 3 to get slope of 1/3. And then last slope is -1/2. So I'm going to look, do I have any parallel lines? So exact same slope? No. 1/2 and -1/2 are close, but it's not exactly the same. And then perpendicular, I'm looking for complete opposites. Again, no. So none. Okay. I know this section is a little bit harder, so if you have any questions, please let me know.